we have here, this is kind of big, isn't it, Jolie? What is this tree?
Well, Professor Wood Thistle, this beautiful tree is a giant sequoia. And it's right across the street from my house, which is your house at this point. So we live right across from this tree, and giant sequoias are in the Cupressaceae family. The Cupressaceae family. And in that amazing family, we have a lot of superlatives. We have the tallest trees, which are redwoods. We have the longest living trees, or second longest living trees, which are the Mediterranean cypress that can live up to 4,000 years old.
Wow.
We have the stoutest trees, which are like the Montezuma cypress, which are 45 feet in diameter.
Wow.
Not radius, 45 feet in diameter. So like larger than my house.
Wow.
45 feet in diameter. And the giant sequoias are the largest trees on the earth. Some of them, the largest one is the Captain Sherman tree, General Sherman tree, largest tree on the planet.
Wow.
So here we are. This one's a little baby. It's not so big, but it's feels pretty big. And we learned about, in our class, gymnosperms and how they evolved from ferns that had spores, and then the big invention of seeds came along. And the conifer. This is a cone that has seeds in it from the giant sequoia.
General Sermon.
Yeah, and so one of the cool things about conifers is that when the ovule sits on these little scales, and when the ovule is ready for pollen, the tree dumps all of this pollen into the air, and they don't need pollinators, right? This is before there were flowers. Gymnosperms evolved. And so all of this pollen's in the air, and then when the ovule is ready, the cone elongates, and then the pollen is on this stream of air, and the way that the cone elongates actually makes it so that the ovule is more easily pollinated.
Oh.
So the shape of the pollen fits the key of the cone.
Wow.
So, because there's crap loads of pollen in the air, right? I mean, there's like all of
Other
these
people's
conifers.
pollen.
Yeah, there's other people's pollen. And so the cone is aerodynamically oriented to just pick up its own pollen. Yeah, so then we talked about in our class about the evolution to the seed and how that was really important. And then the next step in evolution in plants was the angiosperms, the ones that had flowers.
Okay, so the gymnosperms are the pines, right?
Uh-huh.
And the angiosperms are the flowering plants.
Right.
Yeah.
And so these plants don't have flowers yet. This is the time before there were flowers. And when there were no flowers, there wasn't really a lot of pollinators. So when flowers evolved, also they co-evolved with all the insects, right?
Yeah.
So like this crazy evolution happened where all of these insects and pollinators evolved, but the gymnosperms are before that. So there's only about 1,000 species of gymnosperm in the world, as opposed to 400,000 angiosperms.
Wow.
So because they didn't have any help evolving with the insects. Anyway, so
They're dependent on the wind.
yeah, they're dependent on the wind. And then they weren't all that successful as like creatures go. Gymnosperms weren't successful. They did spread all over the planet, and then the climate changed, and gymnosperms were forced into these refugia of like wet, cold places on the planet. So if you're not going to find a lot of gymnosperms in the tropics. And this plant is in the same family as we said, redwood, and there's three species of sequoia. There's the Sequoia dendron, there's redwood, sequoia, the redwoods, and then there's the dawn redwoods that lives in China. So at one point, all of these like relatives were spread across the planet, and then the weather changed, and then they like went into these refugia, and just these like redwoods are only in these tiny little places left on our country, just in like the coastal fog zone.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
But they were all across the planet, and so you can find fossils of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and we're going to watch for the next installment or a later installment when we talk about the ginkgo tree, which is right on the border between the gymnosperms and the angiosperms, because the ginkgo leaf is actually like a bunch of pine needles all gathered together to make a leaf.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like actually.
That's cool.
Yeah. So then that began the higher, the later softwoods and hardwoods of our forests. So
That's it.
good. See ya.